All right. I'll call this meeting of the State Board of Elections to order. I would request, first of all, that non-participants mute their lines. Secretary LaCruz, will you call the roll?
Chairman Brink.
Present.
Vice Chair Dr. O'Bannon.
Here.
Secretary LaCruz. Here. Delegate Merrick.
Here.
Ms. Chang. Here.
In addition to the members of the board, participating with us today are Commissioner Piper and Carol Lewis of the Office of Attorney General. As noted on the agenda, the board will hear public comment on non-agenda items before we go into closed session with the Office of the Attorney General in order to receive an update on litigation. Without objection, members of the public will be heard for 3 minutes and are welcome to submit statements for the record. Our first order of business is the approval of the minutes from our meeting of November 15, 2021. Do the members have any corrections to the minutes as presented? If not, Secretary LaCruz.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes from November 15th?
So moved. Second. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of approving the minutes of November 15 will say aye. 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 Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Our next order of business is the Commissioner's report. Commissioner Piper?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Not much to report. Today's agenda includes our choosing of our risk-limiting audit districts, and pretty excited to do yet another risk-limiting audit here in Virginia. We're at the point now, at least under the current law, where we can schedule these risk-limiting audits, and it's becoming a little bit more routine. So we're looking forward to once again displaying the excellence of the Virginia elections community. Also want to point out that we've completed the election from 2021. There were 3 recounts. All 3 confirmed the victors, and we saw that once again election administration in Virginia was done successfully through the election. So proud of the work that Virginians have done across the Commonwealth to ensure safe, secure elections here in Virginia. The last thing I want to point out is you've probably seen a lot of talk about redistricting at the moment. I just want to reiterate publicly, our job is to receive the redistricted lines and work with the registrars to implement those in our database to ensure that the voters are placed in the correct districts and the correct voting precincts so that they are properly able to vote for their representatives. But as far as the process prior to the adoption of those lines, we are not involved in that. We're involved in implementing the lines, again, to ensure that voters are placed in the proper precincts. And so with that, Mr. Chairman, not a lot going on. Happy holidays to everybody. And we'll have a much more robust agenda come January.
All right, thank you. Do the members have any questions of the Commissioner or any comments? If not, thank you for smooth sailing. Our next item on the agenda is the 2021 periodic review of Regulation 1 VAC 2020. This regulation deals with structural changes that resulted from the creation of the Department of Elections in 2014. The members will recall that I requested deferral of consideration of this regulation at our November meeting. I've spoken with Ms. Coles and the Office of Attorney General, and you have the product that is before you. Ms. Coles?
Well, good afternoon, Chairman Brink, members of the board. As the chairman stated, so this is, again, from our periodic review of regulations. The updates to this regulation for 1 VAC 2020 are clarifying in nature for the most part. We haven't made too many substantial changes. However, I would like to point out, explicitly as is referred to 1 VAC 2020-30A, we do provide some clarifying language as the board shall have a chairman and vice chairman as designated by the governor annually, and that was updated in the Code of Virginia. And that's the first meeting of the board each calendar year. After the chairman and vice chairman have been designated by the governor, the board shall appoint a secretary by majority vote. And this also includes that there are 2 at-large members of the board. So that was one of the more substantial changes, as well as clarifying that the board, in addition to its authority, pursuant to 24.2-104, authority to confer with the Office of Attorney General, that the commissioner also is authorized to consult and obtain the advice of the Attorney General's office. And those are some of those larger changes, but other than that, everything else is kind of clarifying language.
So in general, what this does is it takes the authorities that were vested in the ex officio secretary and places those on the shoulders of the commissioner. Is that a fair statement? All right. Do the members have any questions or comments of Ms. Coles? Is there any member of the public who wishes to be heard on this item?
Can I ask one question?
Certainly.
I found this helpful because I didn't realize it updates as far as the chairman, vice chairman annually at the governor's recommendation. This does not speak to the terms of the members.
No.
That's somewhere else in statute.
That's correct.
Yes, that is in the Code of Statute.
Okay. Additional questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the proposed regulatory changes.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the proposed regulatory changes be adopted. Secretary LaCruz, will you call the roll?
Chairman Brink,
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Dr. O'Bannon.
Aye.
Secretary LaCruz, aye. Delegate Merrick,
Aye.
Ms. Chang.
Aye.
The motion passes 5-0. The next item on our agenda is the 2022 risk limiting audit, which will be conducted in compliance with section 24.2-6711 of the code. Ms. Lala?
Good afternoon, everyone. I come before the board today to draw the participants for the 2022 risk limiting audit, which is scheduled for Monday, January 3rd through Wednesday, January 5th. Pursuant to 24.2-671.1 of the Code of Virginia, the Department of Elections is required to conduct a risk limiting audit annually. Whereas the 2021 risk limiting audit focused on statewide races, the 2022 risk limiting audit of the 2021 general election will give Virginia the opportunity to examine House of Delegate races, bolstering confidence in Virginia elections at all levels. When evaluating which House of Delegate races to audit, staff selected contests that had both Democratic and Republican winners, and that also represented various geographical locations in the Commonwealth. Localities that were not selected into the random sample of the 2021 risk limiting audit were prioritized. Additionally, the margins of the race were considered. As you know, contests with margins greater than 2% are considered the best candidates for risk limiting audit. After a thorough analysis, staff has narrowed down the list of participants for the 2022 risk limiting audit of the 2021 general election. We've limited them down to 5. These House districts are House District 12, which encompasses Giles, Montgomery, Pulaski counties, as well as Radford City. House District 13, which encompasses Prince William and Manassas City. House District 51, which is Prince William County again. House District 75, which has Southampton, Brunswick, Greensville, Sussex, Lunenburg counties, as well as Franklin and Emporia City. House District 94, and that is Newport News City. All localities have been informed of their potential involvement in the risk limiting audit, and pursuant to 24.2-671.1 of the Code of Virginia, the localities will be chosen at random by a live drawing today. So, We recommend that the board draw two of the 5 House of Delegate races identified to determine the participants of this year's next year's 2022 risk limiting audit. Do the members of the board have any questions?
Do board members have any comments or questions of Ms. Lawless? Does any member of the public wish to be heard on this item? We're getting a little ahead of ourselves here.
Great.
All right.
I'm assisted today, too, by Karen Hoyt-Stewart, who has been a great partner in both the analysis and conducting of RLAs in the Commonwealth. So she's our Vanna White today.
All right.
If you all want to roll up...
Before that, we need a motion.
Oh, I'm
All
sorry,
right.
I'm ahead of myself.
Yes. I'll entertain a motion that the board proceed to a random drawing to determine the House of Delegates races to be audited.
Mr. Chair, I move that the board randomly draws 2 of the 5 House Delegate races selected by elect to determine the participants in the 2022 risk limiting audit of the 2021 General Assembly.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor, will the clerk call the roll? Secretary call the roll. Excuse me.
Flashback.
Yes.
Chairman Brink,
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Dr. Bannon,
Aye.
Secretary LaCruz, aye. Delegate Merrick,
Aye.
Ms. Chang.
Aye.
The motion passes 5-0. So let's proceed to do what we need to do.
Great. So roll those up, put them in your canister, we'll collect them, and then we'll have you draw. Okay.
Who gets to draw?
I think the 2 newer members should have this honor.
It's exciting stuff.
We have a drawing for that.
Paper, rock, scissors, maybe?
There we go.
So we have all 5.
All right, Delegate Merrick and Ms. Chang, responsibility is yours.
You do the honors?
My name be out there so people will know.
Thank you.
Only if you win the trip to the Caribbean.
That's right.
All right. Delegate Merrick, will you please read the selection?
District 13, Danica Room and Christopher Stone.
Prince William County.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're tough.
Alton Watchman,
75.
75.
Very good.
Thanks so much, everyone. We really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lawless.
That one. Thank you.
You live, the top of it. We got to do it, yeah.
Green shoes.
So difficult to do. I can't open
All right, the next item on our agenda is a matter involving the results of the November 2 election as reported by Hanover County. Mr. Nichols?
Good afternoon, members of the board, Mr. Chairman, appreciate it. Last week, the Hanover County General Registrar and Director of Elections contacted me about an error that she found in the election results of Hanover County. Someone actually went to the clerk's office and was looking through tapes and looking at the election results and discovered an error. The General Registrar has provided an explanation and a chart showing exactly what the errors were. In short, when all the Central Absentee Precinct results were tabulated, she added the early voting results, she added the election day tabulation result, and the election day tabulation. And so you can't do those 2 twice, or you can, but you shouldn't. And so she has made corrections. Their board has signed new abstracts and certified the results to us and provided them to us now so that we can make corrections to those 5 races that the state board has an interest in.
Thank you. Do the members have any comments or questions of Mr. Nichols? Has any member of the public signified they wish to be heard on this item? All right. In that event, I'll entertain a motion that the board certify and sign corrected statements for Hanover County.
I'll move, you need a motion.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the board certify and sign the corrected statements as presented by the Department of Elections. Secretary will call the roll.
Chairman Brink?
I vote aye.
Vice Chair O'Bannon?
Aye.
Secretary LaCruz? Aye. Delegate Merrick?
Aye.
Ms. Chang?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Before we go into closed session to receive an update on pending litigation, the board will receive public comment on any non-agenda item. Has any member of the public signified that they wish to be heard?
No public.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, apologies. I forgot in my commissioner's report. I do want to thank staff, specifically Franchell and James, and Audrey Walker. We had to make a pretty last-minute change. They quickly got it going so that we are here in this basement room, but wanted to thank them for their hard work and flexibility, and for you all for getting the messages and being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for responding to a late call. In that event, I will entertain a motion that the board go into closed session. Do I hear such a motion?
Yes. Chairman Brink, I move that the board go into closed session for the purpose of consultation with legal counsel and briefings by staff members or consultants pertaining to actual or probable litigation, or such consultation or briefing in open meeting would adversely affect the negotiating or litigating posture of the public body as authorized in Section 2.2-3711A7 of the Code of Virginia, in accordance with the Virginia Code Section 2.2-3712F, Carol Lewis from the Office of the Attorney General, as well as Christopher Piper, Commissioner, and DJ Geiger, Director of Operations with the Department of Elections, will attend the closed session because their presence will reasonably aid the board in its consideration of a topic that is a subject of the meeting.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second?
Secretary will call the roll.
Chairman Brink?
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Dr. O'Bannon?
Aye.
Secretary LaCruz? Aye. Delegate Merrick?
Aye.
Ms. Chang?
Aye.
The motion passes 5-0, so we will go into closed session.